Good morning and welcome to the Environment Protection Commission meeting for this morning. We'll have our pledge and invocation given by Commissioner Cameron Cepeda.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Heavenly Father, we come before you today. We thank you for who you are and your great love that you have for all of us. And this morning, we give you thanks for the return of the hostages recently here, and we just thank you for peace in the Middle East, and we thank you for peace throughout the world. We pray for peace throughout the world. And right now, we thank you for blessing our nation, and we pray this morning a very special blessing for all of the EPC employees, this awesome team. We pray for a blessing on all of their lives, and we pray also and ask you to bless this meeting this morning in your holy name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Commissioner Cameron Cepeda. A roll call, please.
Good morning. Commissioner Myers?
Here.
Bowles?
Present.
Cameron Cepeda?
Present.
Cohen?
Here.
Hagan? Miller?
Here.
Wostel? We have a quorum.
Thank you. Janet, do we have any changes to the agenda?
No, Commissioner, we have no changes to the agenda.
Okay. Then we'll have one recognition this morning. We'll move right into that.
That would be great. And for the record, I wanted to put out that Commissioner Wustel's office and Commissioner Hagan's office did reach out and send that they were conflicted. Commissioner Wustel, I believe, is on a family matter, and Commissioner Hagan did reach out as well.
Okay.
Just wanted to let you know that.
Okay. Clerk, did you get that? Clerk, thank you. Okay. It's always nice to say farewell and to thank you for your service. All right, Janet.
This up ahead of time.
It's okay. Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. Yes, it's always bittersweet to say goodbye to people we love so much, Commissioner. But today we're going to honor Lynn Watson, who's been with our agency. He's done 33 years of dedicated public service, including 27 with the Environmental Protection Commission. And with that, I'm going to have Lynn and his wife come on up here. And why don't we have Deanna and Sahan come? Deanna is the air director. Sahan is in charge of air permitting. She is the air director. Lynn was born in New York, and he earned his Bachelor of Science degree in mathematics from the University of Florida in 1987. His contributions to EPC's air division have been nothing short of remarkable. Over the years, he held several key positions, including environmental specialist for the citizen support and air toxic sections, chief of air monitoring, and most recently, senior engineering specialist for permitting and compliance. Beyond his technical expertise, Lynn served with distinction as our agency liaison representing EPC at the Hillsborough County Emergency Operations Center. You may have met him while you were there, Commissioner Bowles, the local emergency planning committee. He is joined today by his wife, Jenny, who also recently retired after a career with Hillsborough County School District. Together, they raised 2 children, are now the proud grandparents of 2 grandchildren. Outside their professional careers, Lynn and Jenny are avid runners and active triathletes. I think they run marathons every weekend. It's not on here, but they also had adopted 2 greyhounds, and so they're into animal rescue as well. Lynn, we just want to thank you. Oh, you're behind me, hey. I got the podium just the right height for us. Lynn, we want to thank you, and Jenny as well. I know it takes a team here. But Lynn's provided excellent service, unwavering dedication, and a team-first attitude in helping to protect our natural resources and enhance the quality of life at Hillsborough County. And whenever we have events, you know, we have breaking down tables, getting tables, moving things, fixing things. He's always there to help. So he's such a part of our EPC family, and we're going to miss him. Love you.
Love you. Thank you.
Yeah, just briefly, thank you, commissioners, and thank you, Janet, and everyone that I've worked with over the years, over 30-some-odd years at the EPC have been absolutely wonderful. Really like to thank the community, too, for their support of the EPC and the work that this agency does. I think that's why I stayed so long, because we're true to the mission, and I think we did a lot of good work. I remember 30 years ago when we started, air quality wasn't as great, and seen a lot of improvements, not only air quality, but the environment over these years, and so proud to be a part of that work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We have an award for him. Normally, we have a bigger one, but he's planning on downsizing and maybe moving to Chicago to be with his son, correct? Like so, and they wanted a smaller picture, but this is for his years of service. That's a Lifetime Achievement Award, and he picked out the photo as well.
Wonderful.
So again, congratulations.
I want to thank you for your service, because when you make Hillsborough County a career, it says how good the county is and how good we have excellent employees that want to make their career here right in Hillsborough County. And thank you for your service. Would anyone else like to?
Yes.
Yes, go ahead. Commissioner.
Yes, Mr. Watson, thank you so much. 33 years of long service, and you've been amazing, and has been testified here by Ms. Lorton and your peers. And thank you so much. That's a lot of years, and we really appreciate you. And we pray that you have a long and healthy life, and that God fulfill the desires of your heart.
Amen. Okay, come on back. Let's take this picture. We have.
I'm trying to revert it.
Oh, you're in here.
Again, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, enjoy. We have any public comments?
Commissioner, there's no public comment.
Okay, we'll move right on to the approval of the consent agenda. Your motion?
So moved.
Second? We need a second.
Oh, I'll second.
Thank you. We have a motion by Commissioner Corn and seconded by Commissioner Miller. All in favor? No. Please record your vote. I'm thinking I'm at a committee meeting.
Motion carried 5-0.
Thank you. Okay. Move right into the regular agenda. Janet.
Thank you, Commissioner. We'll move to 9A, which is request for the approval of the 2025 Pollution Recovery Fund grant applications. And today we have Chris Pratt to present that.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning. Good morning.
My name is Chris Pratt, EPC staff. I'm here today to present EPC staff recommendations for the 2025 Pollution Recovery Fund grant projects. We will be asking for a vote of approval for the recommended projects at the end of the presentation. EPC's Pollution Recovery Fund provides grant money for projects to restore polluted areas, mitigate the effects of pollution, and to otherwise enhance pollution control activities within Hillsborough County. PRF has provided nearly $9 million for environmental projects in Hillsborough County since 1987. PRF is funded solely by penalties obtained through enforcement action against persons and entities that have violated EPC rules. Any citizen, organization, or governmental entity can apply for PRF grant funding, provided that all project activities and environmental benefits take place within the geographic boundaries of Hillsborough County. PRF is governed by EPC Rule Chapter 1-9. This slide shows the rule priorities for 1-9, which include remediation and enforcement action, restoration of polluted areas, mitigation of the effects of pollution, pollution control activities to prevent or minimize future pollution, and educational programs promoting environmental stewardship and/or pollution prevention. This slide shows the oversight of the grant program by staff for transparency and accountability. Pre-F grants are reimbursable grants. A grantee uses their own funds to make a purchase, pay for staff, hire a contractor, etc., and then submits an invoice along with receipts and other proof of payment to EPC to be reimbursed from the PRF. Invoicing undergoes several layers of review, including EPC project management staff, EPC finance department, and county procurement before funds are reimbursed. In addition, a report describing the use of the funds to be reimbursed must be submitted with each invoice. And every 6 months, a status report is required, and staff will perform site visits as applicable to document the progress of the project. At project completion, a final report is due, and a site visit is also performed to ensure work has been satisfactorily completed as per the terms of the agreement. Now, the graphic on this slide shows the PRF application grant process for 2025. Starting with the upper right segment in red, our executive director evaluates the fund at the beginning of the calendar year and makes a decision on whether to accept project applications for that calendar year. Moving clockwise, the application window was open for 6 weeks. This year, we accepted applications between February 5th and April 18th. All projects were reviewed by the EPC legal department from April into May. Continuing clockwise from June through August, EPC technical staff reviewed the applications, and all projects were evaluated for funding. In September, the projects were reviewed by the EPC director and senior staff, which made the final decision on which projects to recommend to the commission for funding. That finally brings us to today to ask for your approval to fund the recommended projects. This slide shows the open PRF projects and their locations around Hillsborough County. EPC staff are currently managing 11 projects, with 5 of the projects being countywide. For 2025, the maximum amount of funds allowed to be requested was $100,000 for each individual project. We received 10 project applications and we're recommending 8 of the projects to be funded. The total amount requested by the 8 applicants is $529,573 from the Pollution Recovery Fund. And now I would like to individually present each to all of the 8 projects that are requesting for approval today. First one, agricultural pesticide collection. This project will collect and properly dispose of agricultural pesticides that cannot or should not be used. The collection will be placed at the Hillsborough County Hillsborough Heights Solid Waste Facility. The applicant is UFIF's Extension Office, and they're requesting $30,000. Wetland restoration at Learning Gate Community School. This project will restore and enhance 2 wetlands at Learning Gate Community School, Hannah Road campus. The project will remove invasive plants and accumulated muck, create a littoral shelf, and replant native plants. The applicant is Ecosphere Restoration Institute. They are requesting $78,000. Impact of chemicals of emerging concern on fishes and sediments of McKay Bay. This project will evaluate the concentration of chemicals, emerging concerns in sediments, recreational caught fishes, and invertebrates in McKay Bay and its tributary, the Palm River. This project will also assess patterns of sports fishing effort, species composition of the catch, and consumption risks of fishes and oysters harvested from the study area. The applicant is University of South Florida, and they are requesting $99,340. Sewage-associated microbial source tracking, MST tool in Hillsborough County surface waters. This project will identify discharges and non-point sources of sewage and animal fecal pollution in rivers and their tributaries using microbial source tracking. The applicant is the University of South Florida, and they're requesting $75,000. Tracking road-based pollution sources of PFAS into Tampa Bay waters. Per and polyfluoroalkyl substances, or PFASs, are referred to as forever chemicals because they do not break down naturally in the environment and can bioaccumulate in fish and wildlife, which are just consumed by humans. This project will establish baseline measurements of PFAS within surface waters of Hillsborough County and will produce visual heat maps that show PFAS concentrations to identify areas of concern, as well as possible sources of release. The applicant is the University of Florida. They're requesting $75,643. Water quality real-time monitoring in Old Tampa Bay. This project will expand existing real-time water quality monitoring within the Tampa Bay Observing Network by setting up and maintaining a new continuous water quality monitoring station in Old Tampa Bay near the Courtney Campbell Causeway. The project will also deliver real-time data through a dedicated website. The applicant is the University of South Florida. They're requesting $100,000. Conduit and water quality mapping of Sulphur Springs. This project will utilize an autonomous underwater vehicle to conduct a thorough exploration of the Sulphur Springs cave system with a focus on documenting the cave structure and water quality parameters. The project will create a high-resolution 3D map of the cave and aims to identify the sources and locations of saltwater intrusion in the Sulphur Springs cave system. The applicant is the University of South Florida. They're requesting $61,305. Agricultural pesticide and fertilizer education enhancement. This project will educate farmers and pesticide applicators on proper pesticide and fertilizer use. PRF funds will be used on educational materials, printed materials, educational posters, and field equipment. This project will increase the number of educational and outreach efforts of the UF IFAS Fruit and Vegetable Extension Program. The applicant is UF IFAS Extension, Hillsborough County, and they're requesting $10,285. So now we are requesting today the Commission approve the funding for the 8 projects listed here, again totaling $529,573 in pollution recovery funds. We are requesting the Commission authorize the EP Chair to execute the approved PRF agreements with the grantees in substantially the same format as the form PRF agreement drafted by the legal department. We are requesting the Commission authorize the EPC Chair, after staff consultation, to execute future amendments that involve non-material changes or reasonable deadline extensions as may be necessary. And with that, I am happy to answer any questions you may have at this time.
And thank you for that report on this agenda item. I see no one in the queue, so could we have a motion to approve the item?
Move approval. Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Coyne, seconded by Commissioner Miller. Please record your vote.
Motion carried 5-0.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Okay, Janet?
Thank you, Chris.
9B.
9B is the 2025 EPC Annual Report, and if HTV will pull up my slides, we'll get started. Thank you. Commissioners, it's with great pleasure that I present to you the EPC Annual Report for 2025. Next slide. You already know this, but for members of the public, EPC was created in 1967 to regulate activities that contribute to environmental pollution in our county. Next slide. As you are also aware, but we want the public to know that we'll be watching this, EPC is governed by the Board of County Commissioners serving separately as the EPC Commission. I want to take a moment to thank our chair, Commissioner Myers, and our vice chair, Commissioner Cohen, and all of you for your leadership and your continued support of our agency and your commitment to the residents of Hillsborough County. Thank you so much. Next slide, please. At EPC, our mission, vision, and values provide the framework to ensure we remain focused on our goals. We utilize them throughout our daily interactions with the community, and we evaluate them annually as part of our strategic planning process. Next slide, please. Since achieving the Governor Sterling Award in 2016, EPC continues to apply Sterling management principles in our pursuit of continuous improvement. This performance-based model supports the agency's commitment to achieving its specific goals and objectives. Transparency and accountability are foundational to our core values as reflected in the use of key performance measures, customer feedback surveys, both internal and external, and collaborative partnerships with the community through the business and environmental feedback groups. EPC remains dedicated to enhancing performance, increasing efficiency, implementing cost-cutting measures, and delivering high-quality service to our customers. Next slide, please. We serve as Hillsborough County's leading agency for environmental stewardship, and resource protection, advancing environmental quality and public health through the safeguarding of our air, water, soil, and property, as well as the protection from excessive and unnecessary noise. Next slide, please. EPC protects our local environment in various ways. Citizen environmental concerns are investigated, with sources inspected, and action taken as appropriate. Routine monitoring of our air and water quality is conducted to ensure the health and keep the public informed. Permit applications for pollution activities are reviewed for rule compliance, and our compliance teams verify that permitted sources are in compliance with environmental regulations. Enforcement action is sometimes taken to resolve significant noncompliance, but we always try to resolve it through compliance. Next slide, please. Agency-wide, we have delegated authority across 15 major environmental programs from various federal, state, and local agencies that have entrusted their programs to EPC. These delegations often include one-stop permitting, which saves time and money not only for the citizens of Hillsborough County, but also for our sister agencies. Next slide. Our goal, Commissioners, is to be responsible with the fiscal resources we are given. We maintain fiscal responsibility to stay within our budget, and approximately 40% of our operating budget comes from outside sources. This includes fees that EPC collects from applicants to offset the general fund, and our fees have not been raised since 2017. Additionally, this past year, nearly all of our operational divisions have been subject to some form of outside audit from outside organizations. In 2025, EPC had 35 audits evaluating our performance. We use these audit results to further evaluate and enhance our programs. Next slide. Commissioners, here are agency metrics covering all divisions for the last 12 months. Staff remained active, issuing over 2,000 authorizations while also evaluating many other determination or exemption requests. As a local agency, physical inspections of sites is considered paramount when processing applications or responding to inquiries. We performed about 3,400 field inspections ranging from large-scale industrial operations to rural wooded areas assessing soil or wetland impacts. We continue to stress compliance assistance for minor violations rather than formal enforcement, processing over 1,000 actions to attain compliance without assessing penalties. In addition, our water and air monitoring sections collected many thousands of samples for evaluation. Next slide. EPC's extensive air monitoring network provides around-the-clock monitoring of primary air pollutants. The data collected helps to determine our compliance with federal air quality standards and is used to set standards for rulemaking. Since 2012, we have only experienced unhealthy days less than 2% of the time annually, and we are currently in compliance with all federal air quality standards. Next slide. EPC's water quality monitoring program comprises 261 total stations throughout the county. I believe many of you have visited them on the boat. EPC's water monitoring data collection began over 50 years ago. Our water monitoring network is among the most extensive in the nation with respect to longevity, sampling density, and the number of parameters tested. This enables us to better address local water quality issues promptly when they arise. Each year, the Bay's Water Quality Index report card is updated to show the water quality trends for Tampa Bay. The report card on the right illustrates the Bay-wide water quality trends between 1974 and 2024, with the most recent years shown at the top. The water quality indicated in orange is poor and green is good. The Bay has dramatically improved since EPC began water monitoring quality 5 decades ago. Next slide. This past year, EPC executed 4 new brownfield site rehabilitation agreements for the investigation, cleanup, and redevelopment of 17 acres of land. We are currently working with 7 property owners for new agreements by the end of 2025. 3 brownfield sites received closure orders, and currently a total of 861 acres through EPC's delegated brownfields redevelopment program. These 475 acres of completed projects and 386 acres that are currently undergoing remediation and redevelopment. Redevelopment of EPC-managed brownfield sites has increased property values by $292 million just this past year. That's good. This notable increase is due to the completion of several large brownfield projects, including, out by you, Commissioner Miller, the new Baycare Hospital in Plant City, and 2 new apartment buildings located in downtown Tampa and 1 near MacDill Air Force Base. Next slide, please. The Wetlands Division plays a vital role in safeguarding the region's natural resources by establishing and enforcing local standards for the protection, maintenance, and responsible use of wetlands and other surface waters. Over this reporting period, the division completed over 2,200 environmental reviews. These include wetland delineations, minor work permits, and development service reviews, all aimed at ensuring environmentally responsible development and land use. In addition, the division actively responded to environmental concerns from the community, conducting 530 citizen complaint investigations. To support informed decision-making and promote regulatory compliance, the division also facilitated 685 pre-application meetings with landowners, developers, and other stakeholders. As a part of its ongoing conservation efforts, the division successfully secured over 14 acres of land through conservation easements, permanently protecting these areas by conveying them to EPC for long-term stewardship. Next slide. EPC maintains a certified environmental laboratory processing 47,000 water, air, and sediment analysis per year. This lab is certified by the National Environmental Laboratory Accreditation Program Institute, and all analyses are tailored specifically to EPC's various programs, providing smooth and efficient service. The laboratory has been operating for over 50 years, generating valuable trending data on the state of the environment in Hillsborough County. The on-site lab saves time, offers quick turnaround, and is available as needed to support special projects or investigate sampling. Next slide. We just went over this. You had seen this slide, but the pollution recovery funds provide grant money for projects to mitigate the effects of pollution. It is funded solely through penalties obtained through enforcement. Since it's 1987, and this is for the public, I know you just heard this, but the PRF has provided over $9 million in grant funds for over 180 environmental projects. These funds are often leveraged with other funding sources to help pay for much larger projects. This map here shows the current 11 PRF projects, with 5 projects in the upper left being countywide. EPC received 10 new project proposals in 2025. Next slide. EPC emphasizes citizen engagement as the public often acts as a second set of eyes and ears identifying environmental concerns within our community. As you can see from this summary, we responded to over 1,500 environmental complaints last year. Many of them are generated and come through your office and come to us, several of which were referred from you. We stress timely response as a priority and maintain staff on call 24/7 every day of the year, including weekends and holidays, to better serve the public. Next slide. In 2024, EPC staff once again participated in the third-party workplace survey administered by Energage. This slide highlights our overall workplace experience score, showing our staff's continued satisfaction and support, including an overall increase since the last survey was taken in 2022. This result stands 6 points above comparable organizations. The EPC workplace culture result, in turn, demonstrates a strong sense of employee engagement as supported by consistently positive feedback from staff. We are proud that at EPC we care about our staff, and our staff cares about the work we do. Next slide. In 2024, we also used an outside consultant to survey our customers in order to gauge their satisfaction with our operational divisions, our website, and our EPC overall performance. Nearly 93% of the responses rated EPC as either good or excellent. Overall satisfaction has remained high over the last several years. The next customer survey cycle is anticipated for next year. Next slide. The environmental and business feedback groups continue to provide us with useful advice, and we continue to listen to the ideas and concerns of both the citizenry and the regulated community. We met with both feedback groups again this year. Next slide. Commissioners, as you are aware, the population of Hillsborough County continues to grow rapidly. This growth stresses our natural resources and has significant impact on our local environment. Not only has the county's population increased by 60% since 2000, or about 600,000 people, but it's projected to further increase by 400,000 residents by 2050. EPC continues to implement efficiencies and cost-cutting measures to help address the impacts from the growth population. In fact, since 2000, EPC staffing has actually reduced by 18%, all while maintaining a high level of service to the citizens of Hillsborough County. Next slide. We look forward to 2026, which is right around the corner, with high expectations of ourselves, and we will strategically plan to address our known challenges. Balancing impacts from population with its effect on the environment, coupled with the uncertainty in some funding sources, continue to pose challenges as we move forward. We will remain adaptable, looking always to efficiently maximize resources and maintain flexibility. Next slide. EPC's success is only possible through the dedication of our staff, working together for the good of our environment and our community. EPC prides itself on our wide range of highly qualified and talented staff, and I wish to personally thank them all for their efforts in 2025, making it a successful year, and all the efforts they've done in the past and moving forward. With that, Commissioner, this concludes my report, unless you have any questions. Thank you.
Just went out. But thank you so much, Janet, for giving us the report and your leadership, and to all our employees who continue to move EPC forward. We thank you for your service and an excellent ending with our staff on the report. Commissioner Cohen.
Yeah, I just want to echo those sentiments. Thank you. I think that the amount of work that you show with the metrics that were up here, the number of complaints that were personally investigated by our staff. I mean, this is really the core of what we do, is we go out there and we do our best to identify stuff and get it cleaned up. And when we're out in the neighborhoods, when we're talking to people, oftentimes we give them your number with the things that are on their mind. And we appreciate, no, we do, and we appreciate the follow-up and getting to the bottom of these things. So thank you.
Thank you so much, and I will say, staff is so extremely responsive, and we try to just, and you give my number out, feel free. We're here to respond. That's what we're here to do. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Commissioner Cohen. Commissioner Cameron Cepeda.
Yes, so much has already been said, but wow, we really appreciate you all so much for what you're doing. But you know, it speaks volumes with the EPC survey that you did for the customer satisfaction and such high ratings. It really speaks a lot for what the people out there are saying about you all. And thank you very much for everything.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Commissioner Miller.
Thank you, Chair. I'm just going to echo the sentiments. Thank you all for the great work that you do. You and your team are amazing. I personally have had the opportunity to work on some projects with you all this past year, and it's just a blessing that you're doing the job that you're doing, making sure that we're all safe, but also allowing businesses to move forward and looking towards resolutions for them. And I'm very appreciative of you and your team. So thank you very much for that report. With that, I'll move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Miller, second by Commissioner Cohen. Please record your vote.
Motion carried, 5-0.
Okay. 9C, Janet. We're getting
Thank
there.
you, Commissioners, and I didn't want to muddy the waters with the annual report, but I did want to let you know that our EPC wetland director just had a little boy, so we want to congratulate him for Irwin Gray. I almost said it during his wetland slide, but I decided to say it afterwards. So with that, Commissioners, we will move on to 8C, which is the metal processing facilities report. We're working with Greg Horwedel, Development Services, the Fire Department, but we just wanted to bring you some information on these facilities since we've had some fires over the past year. Thank you.
Good morning.
Oh, I'm sorry, let me introduce, this is Jerry Javier. Hey, Jerry, good morning.
Good morning.
Morning, Commissioners. Jerry Javier, EPC staff. This presentation is being provided today in light of recent fire-related incidents at metal processing facilities in the county. 2 of the fires have been at auto salvage yards and the other at a scrap processing facility. I will be providing an overview on issues in the Waste Division that the Waste Division oversees at auto salvage yards, and my colleague will provide an insight from an Air Division perspective and how the efforts made collectively by staff can reduce potential risk to the environment and fires at these types of facilities. This map on this slide provides a visual of 163 metal processing facilities in the county. Locations of these facilities were derived from EPC and state of Florida databases. There are 89 auto salvage yards in the county, and these facilities are marked in green. There are 74 scrap processing facilities, and they are depicted in blue. The locations of the 3 recent fires are marked in red. Commissioners, please note that the map includes an inset map at the bottom left corner because the 2 auto salvage yard fires, although separate incidents, were near each other. Both auto salvage and scrap processing facilities fall under the umbrella of the Small Quantity Generator Hazardous Waste Program. Both industries have similar environmental concerns that include groundwater and soil contamination and the risk of potential fires. The state of Florida has a statutory requirement for counties to implement a small quantity generator program. For the purposes of this presentation, a generator is any facility that has the potential to generate a hazardous waste. In Hillsborough County, this responsibility is conducted by the EPC's Waste Division and has been in place since 1990 when it was formalized with an interlocal agreement between Hillsborough County BOCC and EPC. Hillsborough County currently has almost 17 facilities in the SQG program. On-site inspections are carried out by staff to assess compliance of applicable regulations. Some of these requirements are from the Federal Resource Conservation and Recovery Act, adopted by the state of Florida. The metal processing industry discussed in this presentation are only a small portion of the facilities inspected by the SQG program. Auto salvage yards fall into the purview of the SQG program because of the presence of waste fluids such as used oil, waste antifreeze, waste gasoline, waste diesel fuel, and non-fluid waste such as tires, refrigerants, batteries, and spill control equipment. Vehicles processed at a salvage yard undergo an assessment of what usable parts may be salvaged, from mechanical components such as engines, transmissions, and parts such as body panels, interior content of vehicles, wheels, and other miscellaneous parts. Because of the advances in technology of hybrid and electric vehicles, staff also look at whether or not nickel metal hydride and lithium-ion batteries are accepted at an auto salvage yard, and if so, how these batteries are managed. Staff pay particular attention to handling and storage of rechargeable batteries at any facility that generates or accepts these types of batteries. Once the vehicle has been processed and stripped of parts that can be salvaged, vehicles are stockpiled on site for eventual transportation to a scrap processing facility. At this point, all batteries have been removed from salvaged vehicles. Rechargeable batteries like nickel metal hydride and lithium-ion batteries are generally not accepted at metal processing facilities. However, it is becoming a more frequent occurrence for rechargeable type batteries to slip past the screening process due to the volume and smaller size of batteries being used in technology today. Staff has been to salvage yards that require considerable attention to address environmental concerns. Some examples of auto salvage yards that fall under this category are illustrated in these pictures. Poor management of solid waste issues leading to potential impacts of soil and groundwater contamination is evident, including poor housekeeping practices that could lead to situations similar to the recent fires we've seen at metal processing facilities. EPC has in place a voluntary green yards initiative that recognizes salvage yards that not only comply with regulations governing automotive-related waste, but who also implement best management practices that go toward reducing or eliminating environmental concerns. This slide lists some of the first auto salvage yards in the county to obtain green yard certification. Green Yards certified salvage yards are recognized by EPC for going above and beyond the minimum regulatory requirements to better protect against adverse impacts to the environment. This slide depicts examples of what we would expect to see at a green yard. New vehicle arrivals are inspected for fluid leaks. Storage areas are arranged so that regular inspections can be conducted to ensure fluids are not leaking on the ground. In addition, spills are addressed immediately, and any contaminated soils are removed quickly and stored in a separate labeled container for proper disposal. Common indicators of a green yard like auto salvage yard is a general sense of order and the implementation of best management practices applicable for this type of industry. At this point, Commissioners, my colleague will provide an overview of scrap processing facilities. I'll be available for questions at the conclusion of the second part of this presentation.
Okay, hold it right there.
I just want to tell you, I think that's outstanding that you're doing that program. I think we should really publicize it and encourage other businesses to join it. It's what a great idea, a great way of highlighting compliance and good practices.
Yeah.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you. And thank you for your report. Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners.
This is Sahan Nasir.
Sahan Nasir, EPC staff. This portion of the presentation will focus on the operations at the scrap yards as they relate to air pollution. The EPC Air Division is the delegated local compliance and permitting authority regulating various sources of air pollution to ensure local, state, and federal rules and regulations are followed. As my colleague mentioned, scrap yards are metal processing facilities that require to obtain an air permit due to their operations and generation of air pollutants. Sources of air pollution at a scrap yard can typically be divided into three categories: material handling, the shredding or hammer mill operation, and cutting operations, which include shear cutting and torch cutting. In the picture here, you can see a shredder. The material is fed from the top left. It goes through the shredder, and the shredded material is dropped into the conveyor belt at the right bottom and is conveyed to the next phase of process. Out of the 74 scrap processing facilities in the county, only 6 of them have an air pollution permit. This is due to the fact that the shredding or cutting operations, in addition to the material handling operations, generate significant amount of emissions to require an air permit. The air permit includes conditions and limitations that apply to the operations of the facility. These include process rate restrictions to limit how much a facility can process, and limitations on the amount of emissions that can be generated from their operations. In addition, in order to demonstrate compliance with these limitations, the facility is required to perform periodic testing and maintain records. In the picture here, this is a shear cutter. Material is fed into it. The metal plate pushes the material, and a metal blade cuts the material every few feet. And this is done on bigger pieces to reduce the size, which makes it easier for the next phase of process and for transportation. All air permits that are issued by the EPC contain a Best Management Practices document, or BMP. The BMPs contain best practices and reasonable precautions to reduce fugitive emissions and also include safety recommendations. For example, for material handling, it recommends minimizing the drop height to 3 feet or less, or to water the roadways as necessary to prevent generation of particulate matter. For torch cutting, it recommends maintaining a fire extinguisher, water hose, rakes, and shovels to spread dirt or other suppression equipment in a location immediately adjacent to all torch cutting activities. In terms of safety, we have also looked at the Institute of Scrap Recycling Industries Safety Reference Manual and extracted relevant recommendations for torch cutting. It should be noted that most of the scrap yards subcontract the torch cutting to third-party vendors that are certified and more experienced in doing the torch cutting, which help minimize potential fires. In this picture, you'll see an employee performing torch cutting. Again, this is done on bigger metal pieces to reduce the size, which makes it easier for the next phase of process or transportation. Commissioners, as you recall, we had a fire recently at a scrapyard in Tampa. When the facility personnel spotted smoke from the storage pile, they tried to put it out with water, but very quickly realized that they needed to contact the fire department. The fire could not be extinguished by water, and a specialized foam had to be used. The air emissions associated with fires at the scrap yards are difficult to quantify due to the variability of materials in the scrap metal piles. The probable cause of the fire was attributed to a damaged lithium-ion battery in the storage pile, maybe from an e-bike or scooter, which are small enough that can pass through the visual inspection. It should be noted that when the material is brought on to the scrapyard facilities, it goes through a visual inspection to make sure there are no lithium-ion batteries or other flammable items in the material coming in. The picture on the left was taken by the fire department on the day of the fire, and the picture on the right was taken by EPC staff on a follow-up inspection a few days after. As a point of reference, the white box in the middle of the fire is the control room of the shredder, and you can see on the right picture the same control room, which shows extensive damage due to the fire. One of the main challenges is screening and detecting materials such as lithium-ion batteries that are commingled with the metal scrap waste coming into the facility. At the direction of the BOCC, a work group has been formed, which is being led by Deputy County Administrator Mr. Horvedel, to assess fire risk at metal processing facilities and determine corrective measures. We had our first workshop with the Hillsborough County Fire Chief, Hillsborough County Solid Waste, EPC, and industry reps to discuss the issue at hand. This was the first meeting to establish a partnership between the regulating agencies and the metal processing facilities to collaborate on best management practices and lessons learned. For example, one of the corrective measures discussed during the workshop is the use of advanced technology. One facility in particular uses AI to detect lithium-ion batteries as material is brought on site. However, its capabilities are limited, as it cannot detect smaller items hidden inside other devices. Another topic that was discussed was outreach and educating the residents on how to properly remove and dispose of lithium batteries from the devices prior to sending them to the metal processing facilities. Currently in Hillsborough County, the lithium batteries can be disposed of at the 5 community collection centers and household hazardous waste collection sites. Another proactive measure is more frequent visits from the regulating agencies, or having these facilities reach out to their local fire stations to come out and survey the site and be familiar with the layout and available fire suppression resources. These are all ongoing efforts being discussed to minimize the risk of fires at metal processing facilities as we continue to engage and work with the industry to enhance their best management practices. Thank you for your time. I will be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Commissioner Coyne.
Thank you. Excellent report. I want to underscore another reason that it is so important to be aware of this issue. It is my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, Commissioner Bowles, you may know this too, but it's my understanding from Tampa Bay Water that the whole issue of PFAS in the water, forever chemicals in the water, is directly related to the use of the foam that has to be used in order to put out these types of fires. And it's my understanding that there is no legally permissible foam on the market that the fire departments are allowed to use that doesn't create the PFAS contamination, and it creates a real problem for us because if we get enough of those forever chemicals in the water, not only is it a huge health hazard, but it creates an enormous economic impact in terms of how much it costs to clean it up. So what you're doing, the education component of this, is critical because it's critical that people try to avoid having these types of fires that have so many downward effects. So I just wanted to mention that. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Coyne. Commissioner Bowles?
Yes. I would agree. I think one of the foams at AFFF is really a nasty foam. It does a great job of suppressing fire, whether it's fuel spills or other type of spills. And one of the things about that is that what the foam does is it reduces the surfactant. It's a surfactant that reduces the water tension, allows things to get in deeper into these little voids and spaces and that. But of course, the downside of that is the things like PFAS that's really becoming a huge problem. And it's not even so much that that it gets into the water system, which is the cost to get it out of the water system is almost triple what we would ever think that would be just to like disinfect something. It's not just in. I'm sure my Mr. Director over here would agree with that, but beyond that, I think that that's certainly something we, a slight larger investment on the front side certainly saves not a monumental on the back side. I did have a question though besides that, so I do agree with you. We need to try to do what we can, and it kind of folds in. And you may be able to answer it, or Mr. Javier, but either one. Going back to the facilities that we have, there was it was roughly about 100 recycling. 63, right? How many of those are green? Out of curiosity, what's the rough? Again, I'm not gonna.
Commissioners, roughly about
percentage-wise,
maybe 15 facilities.
Oh.
And the key component to the Green Yard initiative that we had over the years is that it was voluntary.
Right.
So we have those facilities that decided to be part of that program. But in addition to that, there are facilities that meet the standard. And if you noticed earlier in my presentation, I mentioned Green Yard Light facilities.
Correct.
So we have quite a few facilities that are meeting the standard, but not Green Yard certified.
So with those facilities, because it's not required, is there are federal guidelines, state guidelines that kind of have some mandates for that, or is that just something we have to accept that everyone's kind of like,
no,
well, whatever you want to do?
Early on, it started as a state of Florida initiative,
Okay.
but it didn't continue. But we like the idea so much that we continued it at EPC. We're currently revamping the program, and we might, we're actually thinking of, and I still have to run this up the chain, but
Well, you're hearing about it first day right now.
we're thinking of not making it voluntary, and that if we see a salvage yard that meets the criteria, then we're going to go ahead and recognize them.
So are there any incentives or grants to help or these scrap yards to help along with that? I mean, is there, where we can say?
Commissioner, that's a good question, but none that I know of.
Nothing today?
I don't
that
know of
exists
anything
on the
either,
books?
sir. They, the regulation is only for the shredders and the cutters at this point. And so of the 163, how many have air permits? 6.
Yeah.
Now, SQG, we have 16,000 different businesses that we see every 5 years. We're continually doing education. We're continually going out and looking and talking about what we would consider best management practices. But yard waste facilities, they have pile height, you have to have, a fire engine has to get in, and that's
Well-
part of the thing that's hard. And from fighting these fires, I think this one might have been 4 stories high. Once they catch, water doesn't put it out. The water that you talked about, Commissioner, there was 31 trucks were used, is that correct? I mean,
Yeah.
you probably know better what
Yeah.
happened that day.
Yeah, and I have a couple questions here and that kind of go down that line. So are we capable because this is becoming a problem, and it's certainly if we start using lithium and nickel hydride batteries are becoming, more prevalent. They're concealed in small spaces. They're becoming smaller. They're becoming cheaper to make, and we see, you can go online and see videos all the time of someone having plugged in at their house and a fire starts because it's cheaper materials. They don't have the same quality that was there. So we're getting those, are just prevalent anyway. You don't have to crush them to happen. That's just going to happen. And with that, what would be maybe some things to think about in these scrap yards? And I know it's a return on investment. They only got a small square footage to do stuff. They got a stack of 4 but to have lanes of travel in there. We don't have any regulations like that now or any guidelines for them to follow, do we?
We don't. That's what Mr. Horwedel and Development Services, the fire team, all of us are working on to see if there could be something established to help be able to get a fire truck into there
Right.
and have fire lanes and maybe pile heights. But I think that's
Because we have those for the mulching sites, for
yeah,
example.
we have it for yard trash,
Right.
which, again, I don't want to say, but it's like sticks and leaves. When metal burns, it's a lot more there's a lot, it's
Absolutely.
heavy metals, and we know about heavy metals. And this was right at the head of a creek. We did go out and water sample, but we did not water sample for PFAS.
Right, well, yeah,
so,
it's pretty tough
yeah.
for that, but.
Tampa Bay Water is doing that.
Oh, very good.
And has been because of the litigation, but that's another.
Okay,
Can you
all
turn
right.
on your microphone, please?
I'm sorry. Tampa Bay Water is doing testing and
PFAS, for PFAS.
for PFAS, and we've done it over multiple quarters. And thankfully, of all the testing sites, one or two are like right on the cusp of the proposed new regulation that hasn't even been adopted. But anyway.
And I have 2 more quick questions, and I'm sorry.
No, this is great. This is why we have these presentations.
So we mentioned best practices. So best practices and I know there's, we searched the nation, the world to find is there, and you kind of mentioned it or alluded to it and you just mentioned a minute ago with the fire chief and, county services and development services, the best practices for detecting batteries, whatever those are, rechargeable batteries, and you're using AI. Are we looking at like a camera system that basically identifies this type of car, this type of bike, and says this is most likely to be in there? Is that the kind of thing we're looking at?
Like for an e-bike,
Yeah.
they have the elongated.
Right, and
so it's looking for shapes that are
Can you talk
predefined.
into the microphone?
Yes,
please?
step up.
Sorry. So an e-bike, the battery is elongated, so that camera is looking for
Okay.
things that are similar to the shapes.
But facilities aren't required to have that.
There's
No.
very little, there's no
Any.
regulation that I know of
Yeah.
for these facilities, with the exception of the shredders.
Right.
So,
It is in the interest to take them out because the
It is.
fires damages the
Yeah.
equipment and they're down for a long time.
And then on the final thing, and it goes back to when this happens and where the fire department has to come out or any type of, you all have to come out and they're burning all this stuff off, are those, and I say in a small way because they are becoming more concealed and smaller through no fault of their own, but really digging into sometimes, are these facilities being fined and then, kind of penalized in a way or not? For like a fire
For the fire,
situation?
not for the air permit, and
No.
we didn't find fault.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, so that's what I'm getting at.
it wasn't the shredder
Yeah.
that caused the fire with the air permit is located, and I don't even know, did they have a shredder there at that facility?
They had a
Okay,
shredder,
they
yeah.
did.
It was from the
And
pile.
It was from the pile.
Yeah, so it's not being treated like a release of a hazmat in a way. So I know that, because then you can go back in and go, oh, we can go in and collect fees for what the fire department came with, the the equipment and all that kind of stuff, the operational costs that go to that incident. This is not part of that at all. This is just cost of doing business kind of stuff.
Correct. And, with there's fugitive dust, best management practices, I mean, even flour can catch on fire depending on the concentration, that. So again, we are talking about batteries, but that's not the only reason we have fires. You've been a firefighter for a long time, and I think just over the time, scrap yards of 163, some of them may catch fire for a variety of reasons. This one happened to be the lithium battery, but I think really having the best management practices is the best way to move forward.
Well, fantastic. Well, keep charging on, and I appreciate all the great work you all are doing. And again, I appreciate everything.
The county will be back with a presentation as well. I'm certain of that to the board.
Good. Yeah. All right. Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate it. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Commissioner Cameron
Thank you, Chair.
Spada.
Yes,
Thank
I
you.
just want to say thank you for that report, and it's amazing that picture of that fire that shows so much destruction that can be caused by a damaged lithium battery. It was powerful. Wow. Amazing. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. We just need a motion now.
Move to accept the report.
We have a motion by Commissioner Coon, second by Commissioner Bowles. Please record your vote.
Motion carried 5-0.
Okay, and I want to read into the record a memo from Commissioner Hagan's office. Please be advised that I'm unable to attend today's EPC meeting due to a prior commitment. This is from Commissioner Hagan. Okay. Okay, Jen, do we have any future items from anyone?
Commissioner, can I say something on
Sure.
the tail end of that presentation? Just the one thing we talked about, all the concerns, as well as there were 31 firefighters out. There was a lot of water runoff, all of these things. But when the fire trucks have to go respond to something like that, they're not responding to people who need them. Is that correct? So there's more than an environmental concern here when you have 31 trucks deploy for a 24-hour period. And so that's why it's even more important. And I don't want to steal the thunder, but Commissioner Myers, in our briefing, she did recommend, and we are going to take this up in 26, is to have a meeting with inviting all 163 scrap people to come, to invite the fire department, development service, all of us meeting and just doing education. We do this with different groups like dock builders and things like that. And obviously you are able, if you're able to attend, we could advertise it if we needed to, but I'm just letting you know, we are going to move forward proactively, not just visiting them, which we decided we were going to go back out again to visit all these sites again. Put them at the top of the list for the SQG program instead of visiting them periodically like we do the other 16,000 permitted businesses. But we were going to take and have a holistic workshop on BMPs. So that's all I wanted to say.
I would agree that, that reduces response times. We have 46 stations built right now throughout Hillsborough County, and what that does is it reduces response times for other medical emergencies, or medical or any emergency event. And it also requires us to tap into our resources around with, whether it be City of Tampa, Temple Terrace, Plant City, because we're drawing sources from all over, and sometimes, in some cases, Pasco and Pinellas County. So something like that happens, a major event, and it kind of like an oops event. It's still, no one's at fault per se, but it has it could have a regional effect as well. So, having, again, adopting these best practices, maybe, we start looking into if there is an incentive program of some sort. I don't know what it could be. Maybe that's something you just put on the books. Make a note over here for that. I don't know. Whatever it could be, whether it's helping them install camera systems, whatever that could be. I don't think it has to be tens of millions of dollars. Maybe it's thousands of dollars that help. But I think something along that line may help everybody. Small investment again on the front side is probably the best way to approach it.
Right. I just wanted to mention that because they can't respond to medical emergencies when they're responding there, and that's even a bigger concern. I'm not saying the environment is a huge concern, but I'm just saying there's other unintended consequences when these things happen. And thank you for your recommendation, Commissioner Myers, and we will be enacting it.
Okay. Okay, do we have any future items? Any? Seeing none? I want to say we're adjourned, 10:35.
Thank you,
It's all
Commissioner.
right.
Our next meeting is scheduled for December 18th. And thank you guys so much. Have a great day. Happy Thursday. And obviously, we'll see you in November.